So you're dating somebody amazing. He makes you laugh. He's emotionally available. He remembers your coffee order. And maybe he even has a dog that likes you. Super impressive. But then you meet his friends. You walk into the room and suddenly it feels like you're on stage. Their eyes are on you. They're scanning, they're assessing. You say something funny, or at least you think it's funny, and they just stare, right? You know that stare. You compliment his shirt, and he just smirks. Does that sound familiar at all? Why is that so anxiety inducing for gay men? And here's the thing, I think that'd be an anxiety inducing situation for anybody, right? If you're meeting your significant other's friends, and that's the reaction that you get. But on an emotional level, why does it cut a little bit deeper for us? And for so many of us as gay and bi men, being accepted by our partner's friends isn't just about approval. It hits something deeper, because for us, chosen family is everything in a lot of different ways. And many of us have lost connections with our biological family when we came out, or even with our friends. Or even, even if we didn't lose them completely, we felt misunderstood. We felt judged, or we felt rejected. So we created our own family. We created our own group of friends who see us, who love us, who accept us, flaws and all. So when we start dating someone new and we meet that person's chosen family, it's not just about making a good impression. It's about feeling safe. It's about feeling welcome. It's about feeling like we belong somewhere. And if they are overprotective, if they're dismissive, if they're guarded, it can trigger that old wound of rejection we have spent years trying to heal. And I wanted to tell you a situation that actually happened with me that inspired this episode. It happened a while back, and I remember dating this guy. It was years ago, so it was before I even met my partner. And me and my partner have been together for 3.5 years, so just a little context in regards to how long ago that was. And the first few dates with this guy, they were amazing. We had romantic dinners, we had late night deep talks, making out by the water's edge in Miami, like we were 17 again, like all the things that you can imagine would be like, oh my God, this is so romantic, this is so great. And then I met his friends. And 5 minutes in, one of his friends says to me, if you ever break his heart, I will put a hit out on you. And of course, in that moment, I was kind of like, okay. So like I did that like nervous laugh, thinking like, okay, he's probably joking. This isn't really real, or should I run? And here's the thing. While it was incredibly uncomfortable, and I also recognized that, it was uncomfortable. Let's put it that way. But I also recognized what it was. I understood what was happening. And it was this person's loyalty. It was his friend's loyalty to him. It was his friend saying, I love him so much that I would do anything to protect him. Could he have communicated it better? Yes, of course. He could have said it differently. Did I want to run for the hills in that moment? Yes, I did, because I was so just kind of like, oh my God, this is so uncomfortable. But instead, what I said to this person was, well, look, I plan on keeping you happy, so that won't be necessary. He laughed. I laughed. And like that, the tension just kind of melted away. And we enjoyed the rest of the night. Luckily, after we broke up, the hit never came through. Thank God. But again, that situation, as uncomfortable as it was, helped me to open my eyes to the reality of what it means to be a gay man in a group of friends, in a chosen family, in a community. And one of the reasons why I think friends become so overprotective, if we break this down more like on a psychological level, is projection, right? They're projecting their past pain, their betrayals, or their heartbreaks onto you. They are utilizing you as the vessel for them to invest or place that energy. There's loyalty, right? They've been through experiences with the person that you are currently dating. They've been with them through their worst times. They've been with them through their best times, and they don't want to see them get hurt again. There's also the fear of replacement. Sometimes friends worry that they're going to lose that friendship to a romantic partner. There's also just the general defense mechanism that we as gay and bisexual men have. And for many queer men, sarcasm, shadiness, sassiness are defense mechanisms we learned to survive growing up. They became fillers. It's what we utilized to protect ourselves and to also test people's intentions. So then the question becomes, okay, why does this trigger us so much? And if you have ever felt yourself getting defensive or anxious around your partner's friends, it's probably because it's triggered some kind of old wound, right? Feeling not good enough, the fear of rejection, the fear of being judged or excluded from something. And for me, it felt like, if his friends don't like me, doesn't that mean that he's not going to like me either? But here's the truth about that. Your worth isn't defined by their approval, but building a relationship with them will make your partnership stronger. It's important to try to do that. So here are 3 ways that you can win over your partner's overprotective friends. The first thing that you want to do is you want to show genuine interest and respect. And I know that this sounds obvious and you're probably like, yeah, duh, but I want you to hear me out on this because a lot of people don't get this. So often when we feel judged, when we feel shut down, we keep our answers short. We avoid eye contact, we withdraw, we may act a little bit sassy, we make out on the defensive, but that just confirms their suspicions that you're not invested, that you are not the right person for them. So instead, what you do is you ask about their lives, you ask about their work, their careers, their passions, their relationships, and you listen actively, right? So you're present with them while you're having this conversation, and remember small details and bring them up later so that that person feels like, oh wow, they actually took the time to come to understand me, to get to know me. So an example of this would be, let's say, if his friend says he's training for a marathon, and the next time you see him, you say, hey, how's that training going? That small moment shows that you care and that you aren't just kind of putting on a show and that you're being dismissive and that you don't really give a shit about the friends group, because that's a really important part of the dynamic here. And there's a difference between defensive responses and respectful responses. So when someone asks, what are your intentions with him? You have 2 options here. The first option is you can be defensive and you can say, why does it matter? That's between me and him. Probably not the best way to approach it. The second option is the respectful approach, which is, I really care about this person and I want to see where this goes. I respect how much you care about him. So your protectiveness actually shows me that he's a really good person if you care that much. One shuts them down and the other one builds trust. The second thing here is just be open and be honest. Transparency builds bridges. If you're mysterious about stuff, it's not going to make them trust you anymore. If they ask you about your past relationships, don't lie to impress them. Be honest, but don't overshare details that could be misinterpret it. You don't have to tell them every single thing, but allow yourself to be a little bit more vulnerable and a little bit more open. If they express concerns, avoid dismissing them. Instead, what you can do is you can say, look, I hear where you're coming from, and I really do care about your friend. I really do care about him, and I'm here for the right reasons. So trust me when I tell you that my intention is to give this the best shot that I possibly can. Being also open, being open also means addressing some issues directly. And a lot of us have a tendency of being avoidant. So make sure that you are not leaning into that avoidance when you are connecting with your partner's friends. If you hear through your partner that his friends think that you're using him, sit down with them, have a conversation with them, unpack that and say, hey, look, I've heard that there's some concerns about my intentions. And I just want you to know that I'm here because I care about him deeply. I care about your friend. And there is no other reason for why I am here. Now, I want to make sure that I clarify something. That is only if that is your true intention. That is only if you actually feel that way. If you do not feel that way, do not lie, because it is not going to help your case or your cause in any way. That level of vulnerability creates a level of respect. And the third thing here is that you want to show your commitment. Actions speak louder than words. So follow through on promises. Support your partner in public settings. Be consistent in your energy and your behavior. Make an effort to include his friends in your plans with him when it is appropriate. It doesn't have to be all the time, but just some of the times, make sure that you're including them in your plans so they don't feel like you are taking him away from them. And when they see you're here for the long run, not just a fling, their guard will start to come down and they will let you into the fold. And here's another important thing. Make sure you understand when it's not about you. Sometimes, no matter what you do, they're not going to like you. They're not going to accept you. Maybe it's their own trauma. Maybe it's that they are threatened by your presence. Maybe they're just miserable people. Here's what I want you to remember. It is not your job to make everyone like you. As gay and bisexual men, we have been doing that our entire lives, trying to convince people to like us, to accept us, to love us. That is not your job. It is not your job anymore. It's your job to be kind. It's your job to be authentic. It's your job to be respectful. And if after that, they still disrespect you and they still don't value you and they still don't accept you, that's on them. That is not on you. And to be honest with you, at that point, it's for your partner to handle, not for you to handle. Your partner should stand up for you in those moments, because respect in your relationship extends to how his friends treat you as well. And I think this matters so much for gay men and for bisexual men. It matters as gay men because many of us have this deep need for acceptance because we spent so long feeling unacceptable. But belonging isn't about bending yourself to fit into someone else's mold. It's about standing as your authentic self and connecting with those who see your worth, who see your value. Your partner's friends will respect you more for being real than for putting on a performance and for being fake. So what I want you to ask yourself is, where am I shrinking myself to gain approval? Where can I show up more authentically in this friends group or in his friends group? And am I valuing my own worth or waiting for them to validate it for me? Because if you are waiting for them to validate it for you, listen, there's a thing about gay men that they can sniff out when there is fakeness there. So it's not even worth the effort of trying to be fake, because it is likely that you are going to be found out. So reflect, spend some time with yourself and ask, am I being fake? Am I trying to put on a certain kind of character or put on a mask to try to impress these people and gain their love and their affection and their acceptance? Because really what you're doing is that you are perpetuating that shame cycle that you have been dealing with since you were young. Don't do that. And if today's episode resonated with you, please share it. Share it with somebody who maybe has gone through this experience. If it resonated with you, then great. I'm glad that we're having this conversation. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what your experience has been. I love having these conversations. And obviously, I shared my own personal story with something like this. And if you are ready to build a deeper confidence to create the relationship that you want and that is rooted in authenticity and respect and love and value and all those things, book a free discovery call. It's a 20-minute discovery call. I'm super happy to sit down and have a conversation with you, figure out where you're at, what your needs are, what your goals are, and see if we can work together to achieve those things. And I will provide the information for that in the description of this episode. It will be a link. Until next time, please make sure you're keeping your heart open, you're keeping your standards high, and remember, your worth is not determined by how people see you. It is determined by how deeply you see yourself. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.